G'day my friends, Marty, we're here from Marty's Garden, your happy worm farmer. Today we're taking a dive into the hungry bin to have a look at the coffee cardboard and how far it's broken down over the last few months. And I'm also adding cow manure to the system to see if we can improve it. So check the video guys, it's going to be a lot of fun, entertaining, and I think you're going to be interested in what you're going to find out too.
Well, I have to say, it's not the most beautiful of days today. It's sort of threatening to rain. It's a bit cold, but not as cold as what it has been because we had some cloud cover overnight. And so that means that the temperature didn't fluctuate too much. So I think the worms would be fairly active. And if you've been following me on the vlogs here, you would know that I've been using a cardboard or egg cartons, sort of like cured into the hungry bin, which we've got behind me here. Now, because it's got the coffee coatings over it and a bit of mushroom compost and a bit of sort of other compost mixed through, it's still a fairly okay casting, but the top layer is really that coffee cardboard. And what I'm finding is the castings that are coming out, it's grey colour, it's not as dark, it's not as rich, and doesn't look as nutrient dense to me. I don't really know that because I haven't grown in it, but I thought, you know what I can do is trial a bit of cow manure in the farm and see how they go, because they've been feeding on the scraps and the cardboard, the coffee cardboard, and they went for the cow manure. So what does this mean? Well, it can mean a really good change towards what's going on in the hungry bin. So let's go and have a look. It's right here behind me here. We'll do a dig inside and see if they're feeding on the manure that I gave them about a week ago. And yeah, I think it'll be interesting. Let's go. So you can see all this cardboard on top here. Hasn't been coated in any way or cured in any way. I've just been throwing some on top to sort of insulate and keep it nice and moist. And I've been feeding over in this left corner away from the major feeding zone. And this is where all this new old cow manure is, which has been in there about a week. You see it's sort of blending over this material here. And look, the worms are really they're getting into it, right? Which is pretty cool. And you can see that that's a darker casting. It's just a better looking material, but it's slowly blending in with the cardboard, which is really interesting. And I think they're moving away from it now because they've really eaten quite a lot of it. So what I probably need to do is add some more into this sort of like corner here and feed this area and see if I can get hold of more. I don't like, it's too expensive. I'm paying like $5 for a bag of it at the moment, and I really don't want to pay that much for cow manure, to be honest, when you can get it like free a lot of places. But it's definitely doing the job. So we just dig around the hungry bin a bit more and we'll have a look. These are quite small worms, so I must be getting, you know, success with the cocoon numbers and everything like that coming up in the breeding. Sorry, that was just a lid going backwards there. But yeah, there are really small ones in here. And little red tigers. But overall, I'm pretty happy with that manure. It still looks like it's got a fair bit to go, to be honest. They really hooked into it when it was much fresher. There was bigger numbers, so maybe they've moved somewhere else as well, or they've gone down deep because maybe it was colder than I thought last night. So I'll cover them over a bit, and then what we'll do is we'll have a bit more of a look around inside the farm, have a look at the colour of this material. Oh look, they're over here in this cow manure as well. And again, good looking worms, pretty healthy, and quite a lot of them. So that's a really good sign. I'm really happy with that. I forgot that I spread the manure out so much. Maybe I got in here and dug around a bit and moved it. And yeah, look, there's good numbers throughout this material. So they're obviously feeding on it quite well. So we'll sort of put that back and flatten that over and cover it over again a bit, so we keep that moisture locked in there. And then we'll dig under, sort of like, we'll go this way and dig this way across and see what's going on here. We can see we've got a bit of an avocado pit here, and that would be some of the leftover veggies from over a week ago, I'd say. So we move over here, and look, there's a worm ball here for some reason. And they're happening around the outside of this old avocado. And look, they just, whatever was in there, I can't even remember what I put inside that pit now. But look, there's a really good worm ball going on here. And we see what they're feeding on. Because I feed a lot of different foods in here. I forget what I'm doing. But I've been filling things up in the avocado. And then I probably need to do that a bit more and show you what I'm putting inside these avocado peels. Let me know if you'd like to see that. That's a pretty good worm ball. I'm just trying to get it into focus. It's not so easy when you're doing it all handheld all the time. But that's a pretty good worm ball. I'm pretty happy with that. Just look at the colour of these guys. Like, this is one thing that I'm really stoked about. Is just the health and the colour and the vibrancy of this worm. Now, they're not going to like me doing this, but that material that they're eating there, it's nearly all over. Whatever's there is pretty much gone. So we dig to the left a little bit here, around this area. They're still feeding in this zone. And so I've pulled about 2,000 worms out of here in the last week because I've sold them or moved them into different farms. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover that over again, and hopefully we find something else going on inside the hungry bin, and we'll give you a look at the castings as well. So look at this, where they're just sort of like hovering on the edge of that cardboard that's been touching the manure. So obviously the bacteria is connecting to the cardboard a bit like the coffee grounds would, and then they're feeding on that. Lots of little tiny worms. They're not big at all. So we're wondering where all the big adults have gone, because yeah, like the adults like to leave when you get lots of babies. So I'm going to cover this over again. I'm going to go this way under this chunk here and see what's under there. Okay, so if we look under here, this is more the material, the castings and the material that's been broken down by the worms that are drilling through it and just getting into the material. And remember, there's a little bit of compost mixed in here as well. So they're there, and we just dig over here a bit more as well. And see they're in between the layers of this cardboard that's breaking down, the egg carton cardboard. Again, they're not big worms, they're fairly small. And I'm not seeing like big clitellums on them, but obviously, I might have pulled a whole lot of the really mature ones out when I just grabbed handfuls the other day and just moved them to other farms and put some into some other systems and put some up and sold some as well. Now if we go over here, you can see this is from the horse manure bags from ages ago, and that's just carbon there left over from the straw and things like that, from the maybe on the bottom of the floor where they keep the horses. And they don't seem as interested in that material. I see that just sort of lying around on top of other places that I've fed them. And so we'll dig down. Let's have a look. I thought they would get into that sort of material much better, but maybe the bacteria hasn't connected onto it. So see, there's a bigger one. There's some bigger worms there. Two there. More mature worms. We'll get it onto the cardboard. We can have a better look at it. And it's not too cold. He's sort of not moving around quickly. There's not a lot of light here either because it's just like getting ready to rain. And so if we dig down, let's dig down, a few inches down into the material. I've just got to pull my hand back, my sleeve back. Pull my sleeve back here, and we'll dig down nice and deep. Sorry about the rough camera work. Let's go. Deep dive. No glove. Didn't have my pink sexy gloves on today. And that's like material that's broken down that's going to go out at the bottom of the hungry bin. So we're going to squash it and do like how far has it gone as a worm casting. And look, so we go down a hand deep. That's all castings, because we know when we squash it together it goes like a clay substance. And so we dig down a bit deeper again. So I probably could dig this system out instead of waiting for it to go all down the bottom and start harvesting castings if I wanted to. So that's looking pretty good. What I'm going to keep doing though is keep feeding it. Oh, here's a nice worm. I'm going to put it up here on in here. This is more a mature one. It's what I was looking for. A lot of babies up in that manure for some reason. And this one here, that's a good looking mature tiger worm. So what we'll do is we'll cover this back over again, keep that nice and dark in there, and we'll move over to this bottom corner of the hungry bin. We haven't had a look there yet and see what's going on. Again, the bottom of the material here, they're feeding on this. You can see some little worms getting in between, going in between the layers. I really like how they get in between the layers. Obviously that's working very good for the mature ones, getting in there and dropping cocoons and doing their thing inside that space. And so we'll keep going down and we'll pull away in this corner. You can see some of this sort of material from the, it's been from the stables, from the horse manure that gets mixed around, and then we dig around in this corner here. So I would say it's probably, I've got close to 5,000 worms probably now in this system from a guess. And you can see, like, this is about 3 months old, I guess, and that's nearly, like, that's nearly broken down. I think if I was to pull all this material out and to put it into another worm farm and grabbed all the worms out and harvest them and start another bin, they would hook through it really quickly. I think that they're not going down so deep. The material's staying up high and then it's getting compressed and working down through the hungry bin. If you watch my hungry bin review that I just put out recently, you would know that it's a bit of a tricky one to harvest from down below. So sometimes I do my harvesting from up above. And so that was pretty interesting going through. And look, there's another nice big. So I'm not seeing as many as these as I would like though. And I'm just wondering where they are. Maybe they're down deep, leaving them at the top. That looks more like actually a nightcrawler with that long wispy tail there. And I find that the nightcrawlers, they're in this bin, but they don't get as big as out in the windrows. Like, they get huge out in the windrows. They're a bit like a goldfish, I guess. One dig down in this corner here. I just want to have a look in the corner, see what we've got here. So you can see that material. If I was to get in there and break that up with my hand a bit more, I guess the worms would be able to get into it, and they'd get through it and process it much quicker. So let me know how I'm going with this hand-held filming. I don't do very much of it. I'm just usually on the tripod, and you know, if it's not too wobbly and everything for you, and you're enjoying the process of looking through the hungry bin with me and seeing what they're doing. This is not scripted or anything like that. There's no like sponsorship with, oh, I better put this one back into the center where they were. That might help them. The avocado. And yeah, I'm not sponsored in any way by Hungry Bin or anything like that. I just enjoy using it and getting the content out to you guys. So yeah, looking for some feedback on what you think. So if you're enjoying the vlogs and the videos and you're learning a lot about worm farming here, you can just go through and devour lots more content. But what I have is something special for you. There's a card, either this side or this side, and a link up above if you're on your mobile phone, directing you to my courses, Starting a Worm Farm, a Beginner's Guide, Starting Organic Seedlings, a Beginner's Guide, using all your stuff from your worms to grow plants. There's some intermediate worm farming videos, and all the live shows go across into the Worm Wrangler members area. Yep, level 3, and you can go in there and just devour it all. Quick 1-2 minute tutorials teaching you how to farm worms at home. Hopefully I will see you there. Have a great day. Happy worm farming. Give me a big thumbs up if you haven't already, and subscribe, and I'll see you at the next video real soon. Bye for now.